How's it going, everyone? Got quite a lot to talk about in this video. Unfortunate news coming out that it looks like a major title that was released in 2024 will not be coming to PlayStation 5 anytime in the near future. We'll be talking about that. Really did enjoy my time with Stalker 2. However, a PS5 version is not in the works right now. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. I think they should take their time fixing up the game, but still a little bit of a disappointment. Dynasty Warriors Origins is one of the big games of early 2025. I am incredibly excited about it, and I think that could be a standout game for the early portion of the year. And we have a preload date as well as a download size revealed for that. So we'll talk about that. On top of that, a pretty major game reveal might be happening later in January. We'll talk that at the end of this video. But right off the bat, want to note that Stalker 2 does not have a PlayStation 5 version planned at the moment. There is a 3-month Xbox exclusivity period, as was noted. However, it isn't looking like Stalker 2 will be coming to PS5 in the first half of the year. Folks over at Tech4Gamers talked to GSC Game World Director, and it was noted they are fully focused on developing and now supporting the PC and Xbox Series X and S versions of the game. When the website pressed further and asked if a PS5 Pro enhanced Stalker 2 could be expected anytime after the Xbox exclusivity period is up, it was noted we do not comment on leaks, rumors, or speculations. Again, the PC and Xbox Series X and S versions of Stalker 2 are the only ones we have developed and are supporting. Now, first of all, the exclusivity period has not ended yet. Generally speaking, you hear about the announcements or the fact that they're working on something after the exclusivity agreement ends or the timed exclusivity window ends. It would just be doing your partners a little bit of a disservice if they paid for an exclusivity window, if they paid to have the game on Game Pass, and then you're already talking about releasing it on other platforms. Especially, you know, it's one thing when PlayStation signs a timed exclusivity window with Square Enix to have their games on PS5 as an exclusive for a year. You know, they're talking about the PC version and whatnot, but a very big reason Microsoft paid for the exclusivity for Stalker 2 is to not have it on PlayStation 5 in particular. It's a very big coup for them and a way to draw people into their console ecosystem, and they're dropping, and it's available on PC anyway. You know, in this case, talking about it coming to the competing console platform when you already got handed a bag of money for the Xbox version of the game, the Xbox version of the game and the PC version of the game still has a litany of issues. Work on that, and then we can talk about the PS5 version later on. I do think a PS5 version at some point will happen, and the idea of that game being PS5 Pro Enhanced I think is incredibly exciting, but I don't think it'll happen until the latter stage of 2025, and hopefully that will be the case. Stalker 2, I know a lot of you guys don't have a PC or you don't have an Xbox to play it. It's a great game. It absolutely has its rough edges, and that is putting it very, very mildly. The game is great. I love the atmosphere to it. A lot of content to the game. Narratively, it's quite strong. I thought the voice acting was pretty good as well. I just really enjoy the game. I think a lot of people will end up really liking it, but you know, waiting 6 months to 9 months for them to fix out all the issues and then having a PlayStation 5 release that's a little bit more refined, maybe even a PS5 Pro upgrade right out the gate, I think that could be incredibly exciting. Just don't expect it anytime in the near future, and with all the games coming out, I don't think that's the biggest deal in the world, but you already do have to look forward to Indiana Jones later in 2025. Remember, that's out on Xbox and PC, and then Stalker 2, hopefully by the end of 2025, but at this point, it's not planned at the moment. But again, they could have an idea in the back of their mind. I certainly would not be saying anything publicly if I was in their shoes. When you have an exclusivity agreement like that in place, I wouldn't be saying anything publicly like that until at least after the exclusivity agreement is over or they get the A-OK from Microsoft. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. We'll see how that story develops. Moving on from that, incredibly excited about Dynasty Warriors Origins, and we have gotten the preload date as well as the download size for the game. PlayStation size on Twitter gives us the note. How about this? 41.956 gigabytes. Sign me up for that. I mean, these days, anytime I see a game sub 60 gigabytes, I'm like, that is a gigantic W. We see so many games at 100 gigabytes or north of 100 gigabytes that I'm like, man, let's go. We got a 42 gigabyte game. I'm totally down with that. Now, the preload date will be kicking off on January the 12th for the deluxe edition. The standard edition will be January the 15th. If you don't know, I'm sure you can put 2 and 2 together on why the deluxe edition preload starts a little bit earlier. That is, if you do buy the deluxe edition, you will get advanced access to the game 3 days before the official release on January the 17th. The advanced access will kick off on January the 14th, and yeah, y'all know how I feel about that. To give you guys an idea of what the digital deluxe edition will include, early access provides access to the game 72 hours before the release, and you will get a pre-order bonus, the Nameless Warrior Garb, but with the deluxe edition, you will also get the official book and original soundtrack, a digital edition of that, and letters in the game. Letters provide gold for buying things like weapons and portable items, and proxane for creating gems. When you create a new game and play through the story, letters will be delivered to you at the inns. That is an absolute fleece. I am sorry. $20, whenever okay, nobody cares about digital soundtracks and art books, at least that's my opinion. I don't care about digital art books and soundtracks. If we're talking, you know, hard copies of soundtracks and art books, okay, that's one thing. And then nonsense letters like in-game stuff, that's not a big deal. It would be one thing if they fleeced you $10 for that. The fleecing of $20 for the deluxe edition here is kind of ridiculous. $90 for the digital deluxe edition, brothers. I get it. They gotta make their money, and this is something we've been seeing more and more, but we gotta call this out when we see it. Like, they obviously are pricing it $20 above just because some people are going to be desperate and want to play the game in the advanced access period, which I get it. Indiana Jones did the advanced access gimmick. At least there's some story-based expansion coming to the game. I feel like that's the best way to do it. If you are going to price it $20 above, at least bake in some sort of expansion so we can have the illusion of value at least still there. When it's just digital art book and soundtracks and then some in-game letters, yo, like, that's not anything to write home about for $20. $10, okay. I would say, you know, it's still not ideal, but I still think that would be much more palatable than like $90, brothers. That's so insane to me. But go play the Dynasty Warriors Origins demo. It's great, and I would strongly recommend it. But yeah, just not a fan of that. And, you know, I'm a broken record when it comes to that kind of stuff. Lastly, I do want to note that Jez Corden says he expects Oblivion Remaster in Xbox's January Dev Direct. It'll be interesting to see how a PlayStation release for that is handled, and potentially a Nintendo Switch 2 release could happen as well. Think about that, Oblivion getting a remaster, a remake on the Switch 2, that would be pretty cool. I think you're going to see a lot of interesting games get revealed for the Switch 2, because, you know, you are talking about a more beefy hardware that can handle a lot of the games that came out in that PlayStation 4 or even PS5 era that obviously the regular Switch can handle, and there has been some rumblings on, you know, various developers and publishers working on games on other platforms. Look, I wouldn't be that shocked if Sony decides, hey, why don't we throw Spider-Man 2018 on the Switch too? They put LEGO Horizons on the Switch. It seems like they're willing to put their games on Nintendo platforms. I wouldn't see that to be too much of a shock. But Oblivion Remaster, I do think that's going to be a big release for a lot of people. I know a lot of people that are incredibly nostalgic about Oblivion. Apparently, it's being done by Virtuous, that studio. So, you know, I don't have that nostalgic attachment towards Oblivion, but I will certainly still be checking it out. It's an iconic game, and it would be a major release for 2025 if nothing else. But that's going to do it for me. Again, Stalker 2 PS5 version not planned at the moment. I do think it'll ultimately come to fruition maybe in the latter stage of 2025. Dynasty Warriors Origins preload will be kicking off January 12th for the deluxe edition, January 15th for the standard edition. I think that deluxe edition is an absolute ripoff, but it is what it is. And Jez Corden noting that Oblivion Remaster is expected for the Xbox Developer Direct. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.